Welcome back, my friends, to TFT Hyperroll with our Taric. Now, this game was recorded before patch 13.13, but I've looked through the changes and it doesn't seem that it's going to impact this particular build in any major way. They could make changes between now and when I put this out. If so, I'm sorry. Also, don't know if reroll has been fixed yet. The rumors are that it's going to be addressed, but I guess we'll find out. While it is spinning, graphic, you know the drill. So let's get started in the Dreaming Pool, where we get a champion that fits our team every stage. Now, its definition of fits our team is sometimes not my definition of fits our team, but it at least gives you a free champion you can sell for gold if you need. First set of augments gave me dedication. If you want to do a reach trait, this is one to go for, because when you field 5 of the same type against a player, you will get an emblem. So if you want to go void and you need the one void, that's great. If you want to go sorcerer, which is what this build is, it's a great one for that too, because you will be able to get that additional emblem that you need to make 8 sorcerers. Sorcerers have a funky little twist this season, because not only do they get bonus AP, but they do shock damage. So each time they take someone down, you see a little shock of electricity go to another champ. They can chain. So if you get strong enough, you can start taking out teams with that shock. The amount of the shock is based on the health of the dying champion, so you're really focused still on just building additional AP onto the sorcerers. Now, I found overall that getting to 8 sorcerers is not that hard. Between these augments, portals that give you additional traits, and the fact that you can make a sorcerer emblem with a spatula and a tier, it's fairly easy to get there. The problem is getting the sorcerers because they fit into so many other builds. The other trick is sort of how the units mesh. You have 2 frontliners in Swain and Taric, but they're not super strong without additional support. Orianna really doesn't work as just a backline champ. She's much more of a support champ, giving shields to frontliners. Item choice: once you have Swain, you need to start bulking him up. Warmogs is a near must for him. You could also pick up something like Ionic Spark, which will create more damage around him and reduce the magic resist of anything near him, which will help your entire team overall. I've glanced through the early patch notes for 13.13, and as of when I'm recording this, there have been 0 changes to Swain on the PBE, so he should remain pretty stable as to what he does right now. And once you get him up to 2 stars, he becomes a pretty solid force in the front line and likely would have changed the outcome of this particular match. It's time for our second augments, and Unified Resistance is a pretty good one for this because you want to bring Galio into your front line, so that remains your front line. By the way, I should have picked up a Zir here. I didn't. I was hoping to get a different champion who would fill out the 8 sorcerers, who's never going to show up, and we'll talk about that later. But I definitely should have picked up a Zir there. That was a big miss. The reason for Galio is an invoker, plus he's going to benefit from all the various shields along with his own, so he's going to be a lot more stable in the front line. But still, this front line is obviously not that strong compared to some of the others, so you're going to need a lot of power from the back. Your goal with sorcerers is really fast damage. You want to take down other teams quickly because you can't expect your front line to hold up that long. Key item on Swain, again, Ionic Spark. It will reduce the opposing front line's magic resist and allow you to take them down faster once your carries come into the match. Now, this is the first match where I'm fielding 5 sorcerer champions, so once this one is over, I will get an emblem for a 6th sorcerer. The one problem, I have not seen the champion I really want to convert. Now let's talk about the champion that I'm not going to get. I have the emblem. I haven't seen a Soraka all game. I really want her because she makes the perfect 8th sorcerer, since she creates Targon with Taric, adds healing to the team, and will keep your frontline up longer, as well as do a heck of a lot of damage to an opposing team, since she hits 5 people every time she heals. I've seen her on other teams, such as this one against me, and for right now, I decided not to put the sorcerer emblem out in the hopes that I could get her, because I would only be putting it on Galio, which means it would likely stay there, since without a magnetic remover, I still want Galio in the match. I need that extra frontliner, but I'm gonna have to make a change really soon if I can't find her. It's time for our 3rd augment, and there is not a Soraka to be found. Return on investment will not work here, simply because I'm only at 6 health and not likely to live another 25. Getting attack speed on my champions without items, not very useful. I got a Lux out of the Dreaming Pool, so I grabbed her. It left me only with Library Card. At this point, I need to rely on Lux to be all of the power. I'm hoping there's something very useful inside this. Targon can work simply because it will now give me the additional shielding from Taric and the buff that I was hoping to get from Soraka. And I keep watching the Azirs go by, and he could have worked really well because he would have created Strategist along with Swain, but I was focused on trying to get Soraka because I wanted to show this build that way. And I found all the Sorakas. There she is on a Targon, Freljord, Deadeye team. Luckily, we are strong enough at the 6 sorcerers to get through this, and as I'm playing it, I'm hoping this frees up some Sorakas for the rest of us, since they're now out of the match. But I was a fool to dream, rolled through all my gold, no more Sorakas, so I had to bite the bullet and go with the 8 sorcerers, making Galio a sorcerer, and you can see it is a pretty large power spike. For items, you're now relying on Ahri and Lux to be your carries. Blue buff, going to be a no-brainer for Ahri. It's very, very good on her. Then we're looking for additional AP. Rabadon's Death Cap. Yeah, thank you, Gary. Where were you when I wanted Sorakas earlier in the match? And thanks to the Dreaming Pool, we got an early Ahri, which is really what allowed this to work, because her mana reaving and then her explosion of damage is what will take teams down. And even if you end up against a Baron, Lux and Ahri can chew through him, and that health explosion afterwards is going to wreck the rest of the team, because they get hit by a percentage of his max health. Again, thanks to the Dreaming Pool, we have 2-starred the Ahri. Let's take a look at her ability. She does 510 magic damage, mana reaves them, but then every 3 casts, she's going to do a wave attack that is going to do 1125 damage to all enemies hit, and 33% more to people who have been previously mana reaved. So, yeah, it gets really, really strong, especially when you can put together something like Rabadon's Death Cap, Blue Buff, and Jeweled Gauntlet. For our final item, we're just going to go ahead and tank up the front line a little bit more, then bring in Sona as a multicaster, because that will allow Vel'Koz to now cast twice. And I was surprised to be the only one running Sorcs. I usually see a lot of it, but it gave me the gold 3-star Swain, and we're working on the potential of a gold 3-star Lux. And as I mentioned, your goal with Sorcerers is fast fights. The quicker you can take people down, the quicker they chain the damage to the backline, and the faster the whole team goes down. In this case, it brings us into the top 4. We check in on who we're going to be facing, and we're going to be against a Void team. Now, it's 7 Void, so it's not Baron, but still best to move everyone back a step. Notice we did get Demacia because we brought in Sona, so now they're getting a little extra buff, but this will keep us from getting knocked up when the Rift Herald pops out, so we don't lose those precious seconds. You just need your front line to hold up long enough that your back line can do what it does, and you can see Ahri wipes the board. It is now down to a 1v1, and we no longer have to worry about Baron. These are both quick attack teams. That is an Ionia Challenger team, which is a very popular build I either have shown you or will show you in the future. And from what I've seen in patch 13.13, it's getting buffed, so it's going to remain dominant in the meta for a while. So we have two teams that are both reliant on ending the fight quickly. In this case, Sorcerer is most likely to win out because they're going to just take over the match, especially with a 2-star Ahri, and it's GG for everyone. Give Sorcerers a try. I strongly suggest Soraka as your additional sorcerer. It'll make life much easier. Hope you enjoyed the video, and as always, have an absolutely awesome day.